Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Hi, welcome to the Christmas Time in the City podcast. I'm Kris.
And I'm Kris. Before we get started, be sure to follow us on social media. We're Christmas Time in the City podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at Xmas and City Pod on Twitter.
Also, feel free to email any questions or comments to us at christmastimeinthecitypodcast@gmail.com. We're back for another episode. Another month. Can you believe another month has gone by?
No. It feels like a lot longer.
The days seem so long, but looking back, it just seems like it's going by so quickly.
Yeah.
I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. Well, we hope everyone's doing well, following directions of the trained medical professionals and using cautious common sense.
Yeah. Be safe, everybody.
Be safe. Do the right thing. Don't be selfish.
Yeah. Just take care of yourself and others right now.
So last week, here in the States at least, we celebrated National Tourism Day. So we were wondering, once you can be tourists again, what are you excited about?
Yeah, where are you excited about going? We've talked about a little bit. We talked about a little bit on the last podcast. We talked about Key West. I don't remember where else we were talking about, but we're excited to get out of here to go do some things.
To go anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere would do just fine. Yeah. But we got some people that responded back, right?
Yeah, we asked people on Instagram or Facebook or somewhere, and a bunch of people responded. Holly Peterson said Nashville.
Nashville's a cool one.
Nashville seems like a fun place to go. I don't think we've been there. We've been in the general area, but we haven't stopped in Nashville, I don't believe.
Yeah, no, we haven't been there.
Jim over at Santa Tapes, hi Jim, said that he had a trip planned to LA for July, but he was betting that wasn't going to happen, though.
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, I mean, they might allow people to like travel and stuff, but whether it's the right thing to do, it's probably not. It's coming up right around the corner. We have not figured it out.
It seems as though like it wouldn't feel right to go places, and like everything's kind of soft opening anyway. Who knows? And then Anthony Caruso over at Tis the Podcast said, at this rate, by the time everything is opened completely in the city, it'll be the Rockefeller Center tree. So it's going to be a long while, he's predicting, which I would imagine is probably accurate as well.
Yeah.
At least in the more densely populated areas that were harder hit than others. I think that's going to probably affect a lot of things reopening.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's going to be different here. We have an article about that.
We have like a proper episode. So let's get to it. We've been talking about the news. Let's get to the news.
Yeah, so let's discuss.
Wait. It's time for the news.
All right, let's get to it. What's in the news?
All right, their first article has to do basically with tourism as well, but a main thing here is Broadway shutting down. The Broadway shutdown is extended now through Labor Day, which is it's the longest they've been shut down or will be shut down since I think like the 80s. So it's pretty big, you know, there's a lot of jobs on the line here and it's pretty crazy. And this is like a tourism attraction. This is what people, not everybody, but there's like Phantom of the Opera, things like that are definitely for tourists. And they're just not going to be here, you know. So if you think you're coming here to see Broadway at any point coming up soon, and that's kind of even not like a absolutely opening. They're just like pushing it and then seeing what happens. Kind of like how we've been doing like every week so far. Yeah. Like let's see what happens by then. But it's not going to be opening before that. That's for sure.
Man, Labor Day then. So we'll revisit that around Labor Day.
Yeah, let's hope for the best and hope that is going to happen. But, you know, they talked about opening earlier, even during that time, opening up and making it like with social distancing. So like spreading people apart in the seating. But then, you know, they're worried about the actors and, you know, how they're going to rehearse together, certain things like that. And it just doesn't seem feasible. And money-wise, it's not feasible because they'd have to charge like 3 times the ticket price for people to go see. And it's already pretty expensive to go see a Broadway play. So it just doesn't seem like it would make sense to open under those circumstances, at least to the people involved with the money.
Sure, the people that make the decisions, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, you know, we can hope for the best, and it just seems like they're all being more realistic about it, and shows starting closer to next year between like January, March, and their season's kind of coming at that point. So
gotcha.
It's kind of been the talk of the town here a lot, because not only Broadway, but, you know, I'm affiliated my work with like production, like film and TV, and that's completely shut down too. So this has like been my work days of just like, you know, workshops and webinars about how production people are going to work. And this is a pretty crazy thing here because there's a lot of people that rely on that as jobs. They're all like freelance and work in production and Broadway. And, you know, it's a crazy time for all those people to figure out what they're going to do now, you know, and when production's actually going to happen. So your TV shows may not, you know, come back when you think they're going to come back.
Yeah,
you know?
I have a feeling that probably pretty soon we're going to hit a dry spell as far as television content.
Yeah, don't go through Netflix too quick.
Yeah, remember when we all watched Tiger King?
Yeah.
It feels like forever ago.
It sure does. It came and went real quick. And now
I think because everyone just pretty much just binged the whole thing.
Yeah, it was something to talk about that wasn't, you know, well, it was kind of doom and gloom, but in a different way, I guess.
It was just like a car wreck.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One that we didn't have to live in, thankfully. The next one is, this is a UK article, but some of the things definitely make sense for us as well. But it's 5 ways the coronavirus crisis could impact Christmas 2020.
This is what people are interested in knowing.
Yes.
Let's get to it.
What is Christmas going to be like this year, you guys? It's going to be different. You know, no doubt about it. It's going to be different. Our lives are totally different from here going forward.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a while before things go back to normal fully. But there's some really positive things in this article, you know, like some good things that might happen. But, you know, things are going to change. Like, for example, number 1 is Christmas shopping. We've been doing a lot of online shopping, and I don't know if people are going to necessarily go back to shopping in stores, even if they do start opening up. There's not going to be a lot of like browsing, that kind of thing that people enjoy. So it's going to kind of stick to online shopping, which, you know, we kind of do a lot of anyway before this. But that's one way it could be changing. The second way kind of has to do with that, but everything as a whole, I guess, is income. So we just talked about a whole bunch of people losing their jobs. That's all over the place. It's all over the world right now. People are unemployed, and, you know, how are they going to buy those things? How are they going to buy their presents, their trees, and really hold up the Christmas spirit with, you know, it does cost a lot. Christmas isn't, I mean, it can be. It's not about things for sure, but that's what
trying to cover
do.
yourself.
I know. I love buying.
It's about
Christmas
things sometimes too. That's an important part of it. It's not like the most important part, but like if it makes you feel good to get or receive
I love
gifts,
buying gifts.
Anyway, yeah, sure.
But yeah, so income
There's no shame
obviously
in that.
is going to be an issue this year. And then Christmas dinner, you guys. Christmas dinner. Yeah, so, you know, farmers have been facing a lot of trouble with, you know, meat production and just things, you know, overproducing stuff, then people not going out. Like for Mother's Day, they had to throw a bunch of flowers away because people weren't visiting supermarkets and places to go get flowers for Mother's Day like they used to. So, you know, things like that are going to happen. And, you know, the turkey that you might be needing or whatever it might be may not be available for you. So finding new ways to make things, definitely have to be creative when it comes to Christmas dinner. Possibly. Let's hope not, though.
Let's hope not. Let's hope you don't have to get creative.
Yeah. The 4th one is spending time with family. So that's going to be different. Hopefully we are in a place where we can actually visit family and be together. You know, so that's hopefully a positive to look forward to, that's something we can do. But if not, that's going to be, you know, that's going to be sad for a lot of people that want to be together. But it's also a sad time for all of the people that have that they've lost this year. You know, we can't deny that it's been crazy amounts of loss in people's lives, and that's going to be a time for like reflection, you know, and wanting to be closer to the family that you still have. So that's going to be, you know, different because everyone's kind of sharing that worldwide versus, you know, other circumstances and personal lives. And the 5th one is kind of strange, but it's about seasonal flus and other future illnesses. So like the question of what are normal during the winter, the flu and everything starts to come out and people start getting colds and sick. Is it going to be different? Like, is it going to affect people that had the virus differently? Are the treatments going to be different for it? So I think even just like the common flu that spreads around, that might end up being a little bit different this year and affecting people differently. So taking precautions there. You know, hopefully everyone continues on the path of washing their hands a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and the masks.
Don't stop washing your hands, guys. It's super important just to wash your hands all the time.
Yeah. Even if stores decide to all open, we still have to wash our hands.
Yeah, go ahead and continue washing our hands. We've been doing so good with it.
Yeah.
Continue buying soap. So in line with that article, let's talk about how we think Christmas in New York City is going to be, or the holidays in general. Obviously, first, before we get started, we do not know anything. This is all,
of course, it's speculation. I think some of it could be also like wishful thinking.
Sure.
But, speculation.
So what do you think?
Well, it's definitely not going to be as crazy. I've been saying that the tourism here during the holidays has gotten kind of out of control. It's almost impossible to do the things that we enjoy. Some of the times we have to find like the sweet spots to go visit things. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be, a lot of tourism is going to be down. There's not going to be people flocking here, and they might not be able to. Who knows what's going to happen here at that point. It's going to be a little bit strange. And I'm sure it's still people are going to be out and looking at this stuff, but it's going to be a lot less people.
I would imagine that there's probably going to be road closures, I would assume, to kind of spread out people a little bit. Like they're already doing that now, where they're opening up roads and streets in the city so that people can walk around and just kind of not be super close. Yeah. So I imagine they'll probably do that.
They did that last year for the Rockefeller Center, like around the tree and stuff. So they're going to, of course, they're going to continue.
It's not totally out of the question that they would do that. I don't think there's going to be a Christmas tree lighting ceremony.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be very just like kind of very subtle, and it'll just go off one day and then it'll be on. And I don't think there's going to be a New Year's Eve in Times Square.
So I think that they're still going to be doing these things, but not when you think it's going to happen, and not with crowds of people. Like, I think they're going to be shooting private performances because they're going to have to air these things. They're not going to just not air stuff for these things. So they're going to have performances for the Christmas tree lighting. They're going to have things, but it's going to be different. It's not going to be live. It's not going to be there, but they're still going to try to put on a production for people that aren't here.
So there will be productions, but the actual events themselves in the city, I don't think they're going to take place. They're
not going to want crowds of people. I don't think we're not there yet.
I would imagine going back a little bit to Thanksgiving, I imagine the Thanksgiving Day Parade will probably happen, but without any people watching it. They'll probably block the sidewalks off or whatever. And then the day before, how they do the balloon inflation, that'll probably be closed.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Mm-hmm. That's been kind of a tradition, but I'd also want to be safe.
Yeah.
So do what you got to do.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be in like a horrible place that point in time, but I do think that people are going to end up being super precautious, especially in a place like this where people are going to come, and especially now that after people have been inside for months at this point, people are wondering, like, just like it's National Tourism Day last week, people want to get out and people want to be tourists, and it's a thing to do is to come to New York for Christmas. Obviously, that's why we do the podcast. So people are coming, people are thinking about it now.
Yeah.
So you're not going to stop people from coming. It's just a matter of keeping people safe. And I wonder how they'll end up doing that, because you're not going to be able to stop people from coming.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But I think that it's definitely going to drastically lower. But people will be here. It just won't be as crazy. Hopefully they'll just find some, crowd control situations and stuff. But, let's all just hope that it does run a little bit smoother. And if those things have to happen, and they probably will, hopefully next year it'll be back to normal again, or some sort of normal.
Some sort of normal.
Yeah, where we can
get
together. That's the name
of our new podcast.
Some sort of normal.
Some sort of normal. We will be covering all of the holidays in this unusual time. So all the holidays that we would have covered last year or this year normally, we are going to cover again, but through the scope of how things are drastically different. So it'll be kind of like an archive in time of how the holidays were during this time, this hopefully brief time.
Yeah.
So we are going to cover it. So look forward to that, I guess. Or look forward to it. Bad choice of words. Anyway, we've got mail. So here goes.
You've got listener mail.
Yes. Love it. Anyway, so I don't even know how the question came to us. I remember it did, though. It came from one of our Instagram followers, This Life is a Smith, who's commented a few of our things, and we always appreciate that. They asked, were all the locations in Home Alone 2 real? And if so, are they still there today? We've gotten a lot of traction on the Home Alone episode. If you haven't already listened to it, please feel free to go back and listen to it. It's only 8 minutes, and you can listen to it at double speed, and it'll be 4 minutes. It's all about how Kevin couldn't possibly have done everything he did in the city. We also talk about the filming locations and some fun stuff. It was a fun episode to put together, and I'm glad that it's well received. And I appreciate everyone who's come to us and told us that they liked it, because it was fun to do and hard to do, but ultimately I love Home Alone, and it was a passion project.
All right, so the question.
The question, sorry.
Are they they real?
Are
they
all locations
today?
in Home Alone 2 real? And if so, are they still there today? We can go through as many as I can think of off the top of my head, I suppose. All the scenes with the McAllisters. This is just from watching a million videos and listening to all kinds of commentaries and stuff that I've kind of compiled this information in my head. I don't know anything about sports at all, but I know everything about Home Alone 2. So all the scenes with the McAllisters were filmed in Chicago. They wouldn't have flown them out to New York City to film in, say, like the last scene where they're in the penthouse of the plaza. That was at a penthouse in Chicago. They were there to film at the actual house, so they wouldn't have flown 20 people out to New York. So that was filmed in Chicago. The exterior for Duncan's toy chest was filmed in Chicago as well. Uncle Rob's townhouse in Manhattan, where Kevin deals with the sticky bandits and basically murders them on several different ways. That was filmed on a soundstage in Los Angeles at Universal Studios. But most of the exterior shots, when you see him driving in the limos or through the city and the taxi cabs, those were all filmed here.
Yeah, like Rockefeller Center, those main locations.
Yeah.
Obviously the plaza, like outside, exterior. Yeah, Central Park is a big one.
Central Park, they filmed a bunch in Central Park. Mm-hmm. The Pigeon Lady was prominently there. That was her deal. There was the one bridge in the last scene where Kevin goes back and gives her the turtle dove. That's in Central Park. The bridge, the final scene with Sticky Bandits and Kevin and the Pigeon Lady throwing the seeds all over the Sticky Bandits, that was filmed on a soundstage. A lot of people think that it's an actual part in the park, but if you line up the shots, it doesn't make sense. There's a stairway around the side that's not there. There's a video I saw from a YouTuber, Justin Scard, who did a really cool video where he actually talked a lot about that, because he spent a lot more time than I spent just delving in and looking through pictures and trying to figure out where it was, and it just didn't make sense, unfortunately, that it wasn't there. So that's that scene where like the fireworks and stuff, that wasn't actually in the city. I'm assuming that was in a soundstage in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. So I think that's it, basically. Mostly everything that we can think of.
Yeah.
They're mostly real, unless they're definitely not. All right, so we have a update on our giveaway that we started like a month and a half ago, and I apologize tremendously. The timing was poor.
Yeah,
things
are happening.
There's a pandemic. We've got a tote sitting
we've
got a tote sitting on our table here that we've been trying to get rid of for a long time, and we're finally seeing it through. We're going to get rid of this tote. We're giving it away.
Yes, I don't want it.
Yes, all you have to do to enter the giveaway is rate and review our podcast on Facebook or Apple Podcasts and let us know you did. And just the same way as you'd get a sticker from us, we'll also put you into the contest to potentially win a tote bag with Christmas Time in the City NYPD logo on it. So please do that. It'll help us out. Let us know you did, though. Otherwise, we won't be able to look sometimes. Sometimes regionally, we don't have access to some of the reviews, But that helps more people find us on the algorithms and however they make those things work. So we're trying to get people to listen, to give people something to do.
Yeah. Everyone wants to hear about Christmas.
Everyone wants to hear about Christmas, and that's why we're doing it. That was also a potential name for our podcast. Everyone wants to hear about Christmas.
We've had a lot of names, apparently.
We've had a lot of names going through my head. But anyway, so this has been a pretty short one, but I think we covered a fair amount. We'll touch base again soon. That's it for this episode. We recorded this
podcast.
And that's it for this episode. This podcast was recorded in our apartment in the Big Apple, New York City. If you like the podcast, do us a favor and take a minute to rate and write a review. Contact us and let us know you did, like I said before, and we'll send you a sticker and enter you in our tote bag giveaway.
So subscribe now and follow us on social media so we can keep the conversation going and keep you posted about new episodes.
Until next time, I'm Kris.
And I'm Kris. And this is Christmas Time in the City.